नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By the causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, we successfully finished the 5th chapter last week. So being today is Saturday evening in US and Sunday morning in India, so we are right now in the 5th chapter we finished and we are going to start 6th chapter today. So we will cover 4 slokas in the 6th chapter. Other days we are in the 13th chapter now. So by Krishna's mercy, we are studying Bhagavad Gita. The 6th chapter is titled as Dhyana Yoga. So it is dhyana means meditation, focusing our mind. So basically meditation means focusing our mind. So what our mind is thinking. So that's what is very important. That's what is dhyana. So yoga means it is achieving the status of equanimity. That means being equal in both success and failure. So that is what is called yoga. So siddhi asidhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So one who is equal in both success and failure, that equanimity is called yoga. So now we can achieve such equanimity by this dhyana, this process of meditation. So dhyana means it's meditation, meditating on Krishna. So if you meditate our mind on material sense objects, if we think about material sense objects, so at that point of time, we will be fools. So karmendriyani samyamya aste manasasmaran indriyartha. So while trying to control our working senses, karmendriyas, but if we remember the sense objects, manasasmaran indriyartha. So that's what karmendriyani samyamya aste manasasmaran indriyartha means. If one remembers the sense objects with the mind, so that's what manasasmaran. So this mana, this mind is very, very important. So the mind plays a very big important role in ourselves liberating from this material bondage. So that's why manasasmaran indriyarthan means if with our mind, if we think about material sense objects, so that means Krishna is saying that vimudatma midyacharaga sauchyate. So he's a fool and he's only pretending. So he's a pretender. He's known as a pretender. So that's what midyacharaga sauchyate. So then what we are supposed to do then? So Krishna is saying in the next sloka, in the 3rd chapter, Krishna is saying in the next sloka, in the 6th, 7th sloka, Krishna is saying that Yastvindriyani manasa niyamya arabate Arjuna. So with the help of the mind, we should regulate our working senses. So our karmendriyas. So Yastvindriyani manasa niyamya arabate Arjuna. Karmendriyaki karma yogam. So niyamya arabate, niyamya means regulate. Regulate what? Karmendriyas. Karmendriyas means the working senses. So what are the 5 karmendriyas? The karmendriyas are the legs, hands, voice, and the genitals, anus and genitals. So these 5 are karmendriyas. They are all working senses. They are basically motor control, motor nervous system basically in our body. So that should be controlled by the soul. So we should be able to control. So we should be able to control with the help of our mind, because the action is getting initiated only when the mind thinks about the sense objects. Only when the mind thinks about this enjoying the material sense objects, so then only the action, then only the working senses are getting activated. So when the working senses are activated, so then we are actually performing the activities, so performing the actions. So, but we should actually control our working senses. So that means we need to control our mind. So that's why with the help of the mind, we need to control our working senses. That's why Estvindriyani Manasa Niyamya Arabate Arjuna. So with the Indriyani, with the senses, all the senses, Manasa, by the mind, we should control, we should regulate, we should regulate all these senses. So Yastvindriyani Manasa Niyamya Arabate Arjuna. So that is known as Karmendriyaki Karma Yogam Asaktaga Savisisyati. So that is Karmendriyaki Karma Yogam. So at that point of time, we can actually perform Karma Yoga using our Karmendriyas. So using our working senses, we can actually perform Karma Yoga. That's what Karmendriyaki Karma Yogam Asaktaga. Asaktaga means without any attachment. Asaktaga Savisisyati. So that is what is nice. That's what is better. So Asaktaga Savisisyati. So we should be performing, we should be doing all our activities without any attachment to the results. So that's what is very important. So that's what is known as Karma Yoga. So if you do like that, the end result is what? What is the end result if we do all our activities without any attachment to the results? So the end result is Krishna himself. So if we are not attached to material sense objects, if we are not attached to the results of our activities, if we are able to perform Karma Yoga with our Karmendriyas, Karmendriyaki Karma Yogam, Asaktaga Savisisyati, so the end result is Sri Krishna himself. So that's what in the third chapter itself, Krishna is saying that Tasmat Asaktaga Satatam Karyam Karma Samacharan Asakto Hi Acharan Karma Paramapnoti Purushaga. Tasmat Asaktaga Satatam Karyam Karma Samacharan. Therefore, one should perform all the activities without any attachment to the results. Tasmat Asaktaga Satatam Karyam Karma Samacharan. Asakto Hi Acharan Karma Paramapnoti Purushaga. So if we perform all our activities without any attachment, Asakto Hi Acharan Karma Paramapnoti, we will achieve the supreme destination. We will achieve the supreme God. So that's what Paramapnoti Purusha. So that's why Krishna is saying that Tasmat Asaktaga Satatam Karyam Karma Samacharan Asakto Hi Acharan Karma Paramapnoti Purusha. So we need to perform all our activities without any attachment to the results. So for that, this sixth chapter, what we are studying, this karma, this dhyana yoga, we should practice. We should practice what Krishna is teaching in this chapter about how to control our mind. So if we are able to control our mind, if we are able to conquer our mind, so then only our mind will not be attached to anything in this material world. Our mind will not be attached to the material sense objects. Only if we are able to control our mind and bring the mind under the control of ourself. So the mind should not be under the control of senses, but the mind should be under the control of ourself. So then only we will be able to control the senses. Indriyanam ki charatam yanmanonu vidiyade tadasya harati prajna vayur navam ivamas. So the senses are even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away the intelligence. Just like a boat on the water is swept away by a strong wind. The senses are very, very strong and impetuous. They forcibly carry away the mind. So Indriyani Pramatini Haranti Prashamam Manag. So in the second chapter, Krishna is teaching us that Yatato Hyapi Kaunteya Purusasya Vipaschitaga Indriyani Pramatini Haranti Prashabam Managa. So the senses are very strong and impetuous that they forcibly carry away the mind. So haranti prashabam manag. So that way, if we don't control our senses, they will carry away the mind. So with the help of our mind, we should control our senses. So that means we should first control our mind with the help of this Bhagavad Gita, with the knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita. So then if we are able to control our senses, then it is good for us. Otherwise, if the senses start controlling the mind, so then we will become the victim. So then mind will become our enemy. If our mind is controlled by our senses, then our mind will be our enemy. But whereas if we control the mind, so then our mind will be our friend, so that we will be also able to control our senses. So that's what this is very important. Indriyani parani agu indriyebhya param managa manasastu para buddhi yo buddhe paratastu saga. So the senses are superior to the dull matter, mind is above the senses, and intelligence is above the mind, and the soul is above the intelligence. So now the soul should control the senses with the help of mind. By making our mind as our best friend, we should be able to control and regulate our senses. So if we don't do that, if we let our mind to be our enemy, so then our mind will be controlled by the senses, then our mind will be our enemy. So then we will fall into the ditch. We will be falling. We will fall down. So that's why we studied in the second chapter, Krishna said very clearly. So that is Dhyayato Visayan Pumsaga, Sangaste Supajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaga, Kamat Krodo Abhijayate, Krodat Bhavati Sammogaga, Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaga, Smriti Brahmshat Buddhinaso, Buddhinasat Pranashyati. That's what will fall down into the material pool. Buddhinasat Pranashyati. So in the second chapter, sloka number 62 and 63, Krishna is saying very clearly. So that means if you focus our mind on the material, if you think about the material sense objects, then immediately attachment is developed. So attachment develops. From such attachment, lust arises. From lust, anger arises. From anger, delusion arises. From delusion, memory is bewildered. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, we will fall down into the material pool. So that's what we are studying. So that way, in order for all these things not to happen, so if you want to control our senses, if you want to gain intelligence, if you don't want to lose intelligence, so we should be connected with Krishna. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya nacha ayuktasya bhavana nacha abhavayataga santi asantasya kutasukam. So when we are not connected with Krishna, our intelligence is lost, because when our mind is connected with the material sense objects, just now I listed all the chain reactions, so our intelligence is lost. That's what Krishna is saying, that nasti buddhi ayuktasya, nacha ayuktasya bhavana. So, and not only our intelligence is lost, we will not have steady mind. There is no bhavana. Na bhavana means no steady mind. Nacha abhavayataga santi. When there is no steady mind, there is no peace of mind. Asantasya kutasukam. When there is no peace of mind, where from happiness comes. That's what Krishna is asking. So that way, we need to have peace of mind. We need to have our mind as our best friend. So we should lead a very, very happy, blissful life. And we should be able to get out of this material veil and go to Krishna's veil and lead there a permanent, blissful life. So for all these reasons, we have to control our mind. Without controlling our mind, we cannot achieve the status of yoga. Asamyatat mana yogo dusprapa itime mati. So without controlling our mind, we cannot become a yogi. So if you want to become a yogi, we need to control our mind. So for that reason, we need to study the 6th chapter very nicely, understand all the slokas, and then follow what Krishna is saying. So in the 6th chapter, the very first sloka, Krishna is saying that Sri Bhagavan Vacha Anashidaha karma palam karyam karma karoti yaga sasanyasi cha yogi cha naniragnir na chakriyaga. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Anashidaha means without having any attachments. That means without taking shelter, means without having any attachment to the karma palam, to the results of our activities. That's what karma palam. So if we are not attached to the results of our activities, that's what I was telling all this time. So if we are not attached to the results of the activities, that means we are attached to Krishna, not to the results, but we are attached to Krishna. So anashidaga karma palam, karyam karma karotyaga. When a person performs all the work as duties, all the duties when a person is performing, executing, without having any attachment to the results, then he is called as sannyasi and he is known as yogi. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha naniragnir nachakri. So not the person who doesn't ignite the fire and who is not doing anything. So who lights no fire and performs no duty. So he is not a sannyasi or a yogi. Only a person who is performing all the activities for Krishna without any attachment to the results. So then he is a sannyasi, he is a yogi. That's what Krishna is teaching us. So that way we understand the definition for sannyasi. In the 5th chapter, first sloka, Arjuna asked the question, Sannyasam karmanam Krishna puna yogam cha samsasi yachreya etayor ekam tanme bruhi sumischira. So Arjuna asked the question, you told me first about sannyasa and then yoga. You tell me out of that which is better. So Krishna said in the next sloka, in the second sloka in the 5th chapter, Sannyasaka karma yogascha nisreyasa karavubam. Tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo visishyate. So both are the same. That's what Krishna said. So that's what Krishna is saying here in the 6th chapter, 1st sloka also. So a person who is renouncing the results, who is not attached to the results, he is a sannyasi, not a person who renounces the activities. He is not a person who just gives up the activities is a sannyasi. A person who is able to give up the attachment to the results of the activities is a sannyasi. We don't even have to give up the results, but we have to give up the attachment to the results to be a sannyasi. So he is a yogi. So that's why in the next sloka, in the sloka number 2nd sloka, in the 6th chapter, Krishna is teaching us. Yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava nahya sannyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana. Yam sannyasam iti prahu. So what is called as sannyasa? What is known as sannyasa? That is renunciation. So yam sannyasam iti prahu yogam tam vidhi pandava. Oh Pandava, you understand that is also called yoga. So that's why sometimes devotees, when they ask which yoga I should follow, sannyasa yoga or jnana yoga, because jnana yoga and sankhyanam or sankhya yoga or karma yoga, bhakti yoga, buddhi yoga, all are same. So that's what Krishna is teaching here very clearly. Yam sannyasam iti pragar yogam tam vidhi pandava. What is known as sannyasa is also known as yoga. They are not different. Sankhya yoga pratak balaga pravadanti na panditaga ekam sankyam cha yogam cha ya pasyati sa pasyati. That's what in the 5th chapter we studied. So those who say that Sankhya and yoga, that is sannyasa and yoga, that is renouncing the activities or renouncing the results, they both are different. So they are not pandita, they are not learned. So that's what Sankhya yoga pratak balaga pravadanti na pandita. Ekam sankyam cha yogam cha ya pasyati sa pasyati. One who is able to see both Sankhya and yoga are the same, only he is really seeing. Ya pasyati sa pasyati. That's what in the 4th sloka also Krishna told us. Karmani akarmaya pasyet, akarmanischa karmayaga sabuddhiman manusheshu sayuktaga krishna karmaka. One who is able to see karmani akarmaya pasyet. So one who is able to see inaction in action. Akarmanischa karmayaga. One who is able to see action in inaction. So he is the best person. He is the sabuddhiman. He is the most intelligent person. So sabuddhiman manusheshu. So that way, with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we should be connected to Krishna and we should be able to do everything only for the satisfaction of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So then we will be doing things in the right direction. We won't make any mistakes. Otherwise, if you don't have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, so we will be all the time making mistakes. So what is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga, or linking oneself with the Supreme. The meaning of yoga is also linking with the Supreme Personality of God, connecting with the Krishna. So that's what is called yoga. So only when we are able to connect ourselves with Krishna, then only we will be equal to the results. Both success and failure will not affect us. We'll be able to maintain that equanimity only when we are able to connect ourselves with Krishna. So that's why yoga means the linking process, connecting with Krishna. So, O son of Pandu, for one can never become a yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. So now Krishna is teaching us in the next sloka, sloka number 3. Arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudasya tasyaiva samaha karanam uchyate. Arurukshor muner yogam. So before achieving yoga, we have to work. So work is said to be the means. So we have to act. We have to do our duty before achieving the yoga. What is yoga? Being equal in both success and failure, not affected by the dualities in this material world. That's what is called yoga. So that means getting ourselves freed from the dualities. Nirdvandvo, Nitya Sattvastu, Niryoga Kshema, Atmavan. That is what is called yoga. So, Arurukshor Munir Yogam, Karma Karanam Uchchade. For a Muni, for a sage, before achieving the status of yoga, we have to work. Work is said to be the means. Karanam, it's a means. Work is said to be the means. Whereas Yogarudasya Tasyeva, Samaha Karanam Uchchade. When we are able to achieve the yoga, after achieving the yoga, then cessation of works. So then that can be the cause. That is the means. So we don't have to work anymore. Once we achieve the yoga, so we don't have to work anymore, because nothing is going to bind us to work. Nothing is going to force us to work. But right now, all of us are under the control of the modes of material nature. We are all forced to work. We all have swabhava. Our swabhava is forcing us to do, forcing us to act. And Krishna is saying very clearly here that once we are liberated, once we achieve the status of yoga, there is no force. So we don't have to work. So that's why Yogarudasya Tasyeva Samaha Karanam Uchchade. But first we need to achieve that yoga. How can we prove that we are not affected by the results? Only by acting. Only by acting only we can prove that we have achieved the status of yoga. So that's why we need to act. So that's why we need to do our duty. So performing our duty, action is very, very important. Arurukshor Munir Yogam, Karma Karanam Uchchate, Yogarudasya Tasyeva, Samaha Karanam Uchchate. So when can we understand that we have achieved yoga? So what are the symptoms? How can we know that we have achieved this status of yoga? So that's what in the next sloka Krishna is teaching us in the sloka number 4. Yadahi nendriyarteshu na karmasvanusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudastadochyate. Yadahi ne indriyartesu. So indriyartesu means the sense objects, material sense objects. So one who is nanusajjate. Nanusajjate means one who is not attached. Karmasvu means the results of the activities. So one who is not attached. Na anusajjate means one who is not attached to the material sense objects. One who is not attached to the results of our activities. So that's what Yadahi na nendriyartesu means na indriyartesu. That's what nendriyartesu. Na indriyarta. Indriyarta means the sense objects. One who is not attached to the sense objects, one who is not attached to the results of the activities. So that's what Yadahi nendriyartesu na karmasu anusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi. Who is able to give up all varieties of desires. So that's what sarva sankalpa sannyasi. So when we are able to achieve that status, so at that time, it can be declared that that person has achieved the status of yoga. So that's what yogarudas tadochyate. So at that time, we can say that that person has achieved yoga. So that's what we need to do. So a person is said to be elevated in yoga when having renounced all material desires. He neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. So at that time, we will be able to achieve the status of yoga. So Krishna is teaching us all these things very clearly. So we are going to understand in all the coming slokas, Krishna is going to teach us about how to control our mind, how to focus our mind on Krishna, how to basically chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So Krishna is teaching everything very, very clearly, everything scientifically, very, very clearly, very scientifically. We are getting all this knowledge. We need to understand. That's what is very important. We need to get this knowledge fully, understand it and follow it. And then by Krishna's mercy, we will be able to actually remember Krishna at the time of death. We'll be able to go to Goloka. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished 4 slokas in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita today. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you very much. Hare